live. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a quick little reminder after I welcome you to the We Outside live cast. If you're tapping in for the first time, well, let me tell you what it's about. We are simply a free-flowing, unscripted, organic conversation. That's what it's about. And today we have the pleasure and the privilege of somebody who, in my opinion, for what it's worth to y'all, is the purest form of what an artist is when it comes to being an entertainer, being an artist, being a musician, somebody who shares themselves with people through their art, Mr. Jehry Robinson. So,
Yo,
ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you, Jehry. And also, before we
thank
go in
you.
for happy belated birthday, bro. I think you
Thank
celebrated
you.
a birthday yesterday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that.
So,
Yesterday. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
salute,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Wishing you many, many more, man. So,
Thank
for
you.
those of you that might not be familiar with Jehry Robinson, Jehry Robinson is an artist. He's a musician. He was with Strange Music, and he's been doing this for a minute. He is, one thing I've come to really appreciate about your catalog, Jehry, is, bro, you can do a lot, man. You can do a lot. You got rap, you got reggae, you got your new stuff, which we're very much going to talk about, that you just started dropping, most notably Goodbye Now and Pay Me, which are
Yeah.
both really dope songs. Hell of a vibe as well. And it's funny because my co-host Discreet, who's over in England, and I was telling you before we went live, it's a little past his bedtime, so I sent his ass to
Yeah.
sleep. But he got put onto you because of me, and he was like, well, let me go do a little listen. And he called me within like 5 minutes after. I was like, yo, this is Jehry Robinson, go do a little research on him, bro. And he's like, yo, he goes, bro, he goes, I listened to one video. He goes, when you just listen to one video or see one video or listen to one song of somebody, you just know. He's like, bro, he's like, this dude is absolutely amazing.
I
I'm
appreciate
like,
it.
I'm telling you, man. So thank you. And where I would like to start before I ask my first thought or question is, I want to turn it over to you. We always let our special guests, because this show is really yours, bro. I'm just here to facilitate the conversation, but this is all about you, bro. So whatever you want to talk about, don't want to talk about, that's what we're gonna do, because we're just gonna have a conversation, bro. So please,
Very
in
dope.
your own words, take the time and let the outsiders know who you are, what you're about, bro.
Yeah, man. My name is Jehry Robinson, man. I spell Jerry with the H, which people pronounce Jehry or Jury. But it's just Jehry Robinson. I'm from Long Island, New York, man. Came up producing, writing records, and ultimately just a hip hop fan, man. Just like a super hip hop fanatic, dude. And grew up going to battles and trying to just get into that world for a long time, bro. And took me a lot to break the mold on that and be accepted. And started out 13, taking the train, going into all around New York, man. I was, you know, uh 30 minutes from Brooklyn, Queens, 40 minutes from Manhattan. So I grew up right next to the mecca of what I loved. And
Mm-hmm.
I got to experience a lot of hip hop at an early age. So we're talking like 10, 11, 12. It's like someone's older brother is going in and rap battling or whatever. And, you know, I, early on, I saw 8 Mile when I was a little kid, right? I'm like obsessed with that culture. So that's kind of the beginning, man. That's how I started. And I really just wanted to uh like hone my craft and be the best rapper ever. So on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
when I would get out of school and I would hop on the train and go to the battle, I would be sharp and I'd be ready to go. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely lost some battles early on, dude. I mean, it was to a point of I never was accepted, and I always felt like I had to work a little bit harder to be accepted into that culture, especially like
Yes.
specifically battle rap at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I used to really just hone that, and it would get to a point where I was getting like beat up over trying to get on the mic. You know what I'm saying? People would give me a really, really hard time, like, yo, sit your ass down. Like I would sign up on the internet, do everything the right way, really plan my whole week around this battle. And then as soon as I grab the mic, someone's snatching it out of my hands, and there's four dudes like, nah, my boy going next. So even to just grab the mic, you know what I'm saying, was extremely
Mm-hmm.
hard. Like even to show them, even to get booed or, you know what I'm saying, get hated on, it was like super hard. It was like these people do not want to mess with me at all. And then through time, showed improved and kind of just became like the neighborhood guy. I had my little setup at my mom's house, and my mom would go to work, after school, and I would have like 10 dudes in the room just around a small little computer, you know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
and that's it. And then I learned how to produce, I learned how to mix, I learned how to engineer and use auto tune for everybody, and I became that guy that to go to in the neighborhood. And that's really the start of it, man. Just like a huge love for hip hop, just being like, even if I wasn't gonna rap, it was like, how can I produce? How could I engineer? How could I be a part of these records that I love so much? How could I find that? And
You just want to be an asset to the culture. I can appreciate that, bro.
really,
Something
yeah,
you got
really, at
love and a
the end of the
passion
day.
for.
Yeah. And then it got to the point where it's like I'm in the deepest hoods in New York, 2, 3 in the morning, and everyone's like, yo, bro, be careful over there. But the dudes who are running it, it's like I'm doing their mixtape, bro. Like the guy who's running the block outside, it's like I'm doing his whole mixtape right now, and I'm really helping him out, and I'm spending extra hours. So it was like, kind of like a form of like a barter of like protection in some of these places where it's like, yo, Jerry, good, bro. Leave Jerry alone because I got to finish the 6-song EP we doing this weekend. So it kind of became like that, like that's it. That's my identity now. Is I'm this guy. You know what I'm saying? And people started to respect me early on, bro. We talking like 15, 16 years old. I was the guy who knew how to like run the program, and then I would always try to rap. That was like that became secondary for a long time. It was like, man, I could produce, I could write some hooks for you, I could I could engineer the whole session, and then at the end I'd be like, hey, bro, I got this verse too, if you want to let me on. And then in the beginning it was like, man, shut up. Nah, you ain't doing the verse. You know what I'm saying? So that was definitely an experience to overcome that. You know what I'm saying? But that's where it all started, bro. Just hustling.
Man, I respect and I appreciate that for a couple different reasons. Number one, most importantly, most people in that scenario would have straight up quit, bro. Would have straight up quit. So I commend you for pushing through, bro. And we briefly talked because I got to meet because I had the privilege of being an extra in your Goodbye Now video, and that's how we connected, which was hella dope.
Yeah.
And again, awesome. By the way, we're definitely gonna talk about that, but I'm gonna stop real quick. Anybody watching this right now, if y'all have not spun Goodbye Now, it's like everybody, it's the summertime, right? Summer started this past Friday. Everybody has their summer songs. I'm telling you right now,
my birthday is the first day of summer, actually. My birthday is the first day of summer.
And I'm not just saying this because you're on with me right now, bro, because I've messaged this to you on social medias as well, bro. This is my summer jam right now. Goodbye Now is a vibe, bro. Yeah, it's a hell of a vibe, bro.
Really well, bro. It's doing well for sure. I mean, people are
and pay me as well, like, dude, and we're gonna come back because I'm gonna ask something specific about this, this music that maybe some people didn't necessarily expect with these tracks coming out, right? But I do appreciate what you went through and what you experienced, because the reason I said that stuff is I grew up in Bridgeport, Connecticut, right? Very similar to you in the sense of Long Island is, maybe as the crow flies, 25 miles to New York City. I could take the metro in right into Grand Central. I drove once into New York City. Check this out real quick. You'll appreciate the story. I won tickets, and it would have been 1990, maybe 2000, right? I was like 18, 19 years old. And I won tickets off of Hot 97 to go see the Up in Smoke tour.
Wait, you were 18 in the year 2000?
Something like that. Yeah.
Dude, I thought you were like 25 years old, bro. You look young as hell.
I'm 44, bro. I'm 44.
Oh, God bless you, bro.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. And
dude, I thought you were 28, 29 at least. That's crazy. Go ahead.
When I've shaved my beard too, forget about. I mean, I lose like 10 years of my age, dog. But yeah, I drove into New York City once to go pick up tickets from Hot 97 for the Up in Smoke tour concert, right? And so we're driving. My boy Mark is in the passenger seat. This is before phones. We got the Rand McNally printed off the internet. How to get back from New York City back to Connecticut, right?
I don't even know what Rand McNally is. What is that,
dog? So basically, it was like
I do know what MapQuest is.
Yes. So Rand
Same thing.
McNally was basically like the first same thing. But you
Okay.
would just
I've never
you
heard
go
of
on to Yahoo or
Rand
Google,
McNally. I never heard of that.
bro. So
That's crazy.
I'm dating myself right now, bro. I'm dating myself. And we went in, we're sitting at a light, got the tickets, went up to Hot 97, blah blah blah. Sitting at a red light. I'm like, yo, Mark, which way do we go, bro? He's like, yo, I think you take a right. I'm like, bet, let's go. I take a right, bro, off the stoplight. I'm going down in New York City. I don't even know, bro. He sent me down a one way, dog. I got 5 lanes of oncoming traffic coming at me,
Oh,
bro. I was driving a 95
God.
Subaru Impreza, stick shift at the point, bro. I whipped that thing in a Yui quicker than, and
That is my
then that was,
biggest fear, man. I travel a lot. Like we tour, we're on the road a lot in like big sprinter vans and stuff. And
mm-hmm.
it's actually a big fear of mine always. Like if I wake up on like in the van or something and we're driving and it's like, just a random, like we got off the highway, we had to go to the gas. It's like we wind up getting lost or something. I'm always thinking that we're driving on a one way. That's like
Yep.
that's a super big fear of mine. So that's I definitely resonate with that being scary as hell.
It was
It's
scary,
hard to
bro. It was
drive.
scary. And then, man, it is. And then I didn't do it again for like 20 years, bro. I ended up going to a Knicks Mavericks game, and at the time I was probably like 33, something like that. And I was like, all right, I'll drive into the city, and it wasn't bad. And I actually drove in there. I was back there about a month and a half ago, and my
Y'all have a
boy
train
who was
there?
out from,
Connecticut
oh
has
yeah,
its own system, like
yep,
New
yep,
Jersey,
yeah,
Long Island,
Metro
right?
North, yep,
Yeah.
Metro
So
North, right into Grand Central.
man, that chain goes, if you're seeing the next, right into MSG for me in Long Island, and it's a probably 40-50 minute ride, and all of a sudden you go from Long Island to walking into Penn Station. And since I was a little kid, that's that's what I did. My parents would bring me, wherever we go to, like parades or whatever it may be, back in the day. And I've always just had this fascination with it, bro. Like Penn Station, MSG, Times Square.
Yes,
When I look at the skyline, even as an adult today, I get so inspired, dude. Like I go, like it feels amazing every time. And I don't know why.
yes.
It's just there's something in the air. You know what I'm saying? It's like that Jay-Z and Alicia Keys joint. Like it's just a special place. So, that was kind of like even early on, I had that obsession with going into New York City and just looking around, being around it, and then knowing how pinnacle it is in hip hop was always like huge. It's like every
Yes.
documentary I watched is in the Bronx. And the Bronx is a 30-minute ride, right? So 40
Mm-hmm.
40 minutes I'm over there at the spot that I'm watching on VH1 or whatever it was, and I would just really like try to soak all that in, and couldn't get enough of it. You know what I'm saying? And that's like I knew early on like I'm going to do music, but it just it took years to kind of find my footing on what that meant. You know what I'm saying? For
I can
sure.
very much appreciate that. Well, I'm glad you found it, bro, and even the way that you did, and I'm very happy that you and thankful that you shared the story that you did of how you got into it and all the experiences, because it resonates with me growing up in that tri-state area, because it was very similar for me growing up in Bridgeport, Connecticut, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I grew up in and around places where people would consider it the hood. You know what I mean? So like, people that would have an ethnic background, non-white, you know what I mean, were the majority of my friends and people I grew up with. That's just who I ran with as a kid. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so even when you had that, you go try to do something the way that you explained it, that might not, some people might perceive that, hey man, this culture ain't for you. This ain't for you.
Facts.
That's real, bro. That's real. So, it leads me to something that I heard you say on your social media as you were getting to release, specifically Goodbye Now. But then obviously with Pay Me coming up, and I know, if I'm not mistaken, you got a project in its entirety that you're working on, and we'll be getting, I think, in a couple months, potentially from you. But again, I'm hypothesizing. I'm not saying anything anybody
Yeah.
out there. I'm just
No. It's
hypothesizing.
coming. Yeah.
You know,
Sooner than
it's
that.
coming.
Album's on the way. We about to make an announcement soon.
You had said something along the lines of, you were like, yo, it was very vulnerable, which I appreciated, because you were like, yo, I don't know how people are going to receive this. People might not expect this type of music for me, and I'm not
Yeah.
sure what to think about it, but you went and did it anyways. You were vulnerable, right? And that's what I love about pure artists. And for anybody out there watching, if my opinion matters anything to you, I'm gonna tell you right now, Jehry Robinson is the purest form of what an artist really is about, as far as sharing a piece of
Thank you.
themselves. Like
Thank you, dude.
truly, bro. Like you just you get it in the feels, man. And I got that feel from, getting to meet you on the Goodbye Now video as well, bro. Like it's energies, it's frequencies, and you carry the right energy and frequencies about you, especially when it comes to your music, bro. And the
I
authenticity
appreciate
is
that,
there, and I
man.
appreciate that, man, for real. So um how did now kind of like at the top of the call that you had said, people are receiving it well, which if you're following out there, people, you can see it. The numbers tell the story, right? Man,
Right.
like you referenced AZ before. I'm gonna reference him right now. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't, right?
Facts.
So you're doing your thing, bro, and I appreciate that. So my question specific to you, now that you're a couple tracks into what people maybe necessarily were not expecting from you, how are you still feeling any kind of sense of vulnerability, or are you kind of like feeling more empowered, if you will, now that a couple tracks have been out and people are like, yo,
Yeah.
yo, this is dope. Where are you at now with kind of that I don't want to call it a pivot, but a
Yeah.
different sound, maybe, is the better way to put it, than people have heard from you in the past?
It definitely like helped my confidence in it, where like I feel like that we breached that hurdle of,
Hmm.
what it would be. You know what I'm saying? There was just this unknown, which I kind of live for that. I live for,
Yeah.
doing something that's new, that's uh a dice roll, so to speak. It's like, dude, this might not work out. But I definitely feel more confident. But overall, my main thing in general when making music, I just create, dude. Like I do not have any restriction. So if
Hmm.
it's something that you may look at as inauthentic because it's, oh, this isn't Jerry, right? I'm doing reggae, or I'm doing country, and you can say, oh, well, this isn't what Jerry does. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not me if I haven't done it before. But at the end of the day, that is the most pure form of me, like you just said, because that is what I went in the room and created. So it's like, oh,
Hmm.
he's only doing that because he's been out in Nashville. Yes, yes, we're allowed to do that. We're allowed to go
Hmm.
to a place, experience a new environment, and go, wow, this is amazing. And then when I went in the studio, I wasn't feeling the same energy as I was feeling in New York, running around Brooklyn with, what I'm
Hmm.
saying, with all the beats playing and people freestyling on the corner, and then going in the studio and creating something, right? So then coming to Nashville, it's like, wow, I go to the studio, people are collaboratively working on records and writing songs together, opposed to, yeah, let me do my verse, you do your verse. And
Yep.
even in hip hop, it's like there's a competition even within the collaboration a lot of times, right? It's like
Correct.
these two rappers on a song, it's a collaboration, it's all love, but there's a slight underlying competition always, where this person's
Hmm.
verse got to be better. But when I went to Nashville, I met guys like Ty March. He's a artist out here that's killing it. My boy Kingery, and these guys are all up and coming, amazingly talented songwriters and singers, and they're just trying to use some of my words, use some of my melodies. I might use their melody and flip it,
Hmm.
and we're collaboratively writing a song. So that kind of was really fun, and I had a blast. So then I started creating it on my own, and it's like, how is that wrong, right? That's the thing. It's like, that can't be wrong, because it's just what I made. It's what I did when nobody was looking. I didn't calculatedly think about it and be like, all right, I don't know if calculatedly is a word, but I didn't, it
It
wasn't
is now.
calculated. It is now.
I
I just
love
made it
making up
up.
words all the time,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, Google that. But no, it's it just wasn't a calculated thing. It was like a really organic thing that happened. And I'm like, I love this, right? This makes me feel so good. I like sing. It just happened. So now here's the other thing. Does that mean that that's what I do now forever? Maybe, to some degree. Now I have that arsenal, that tool, right? Because I
Hmm.
learned a lot about it, and I respect the culture of what it is. I'm not from the country, right? But I respect it and I love it. So I just kind of wanted to step into that world for a second and have some fun, right? So if I'm not having fun, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Man,
Because you know what I'm saying?
right.
There's so much business involved, and there's there's so many other things that I do to, make a living and live life. When I do music, man, I'll be damned if I'm not gonna go in there and have fun, right? I need to
Yes.
keep that. That's the point of me doing it. It's the expression, and I want to enjoy it. And I think if you enjoy it, no matter what it is, the people, they see that and they resonate with it. If they could see that there's, authentic enjoyment in you, like it's like this person's having a good time, this person's enjoying this, so I'm going to probably feel that most of the time. Like if I'm listening to a new artist, I'll probably feel like this so you know what I'm saying. So that's really what it boils down to. I just make whatever I make, and then the bold part is putting it out. That's where
Yes.
everything changes, because it's like, okay, now I have to actually put this out, and I have to
Yep.
deal with the consequences of what people are going to say. And right away, it's like, oh, he's doing country now, and da da da. And it's like, to me, I'm like, that's crazy. Of course, I'm doing that, but I'm saying that's what I'm doing now forever. That's what I'm doing now forever. So that's where I like to break that. Like I can't say too much, but within the next coming months, some of the songs that I'm going to release, they might not feel like that at all. They
Hmm.
might feel, you know what I'm saying? So is that illegal? You know what I'm saying? There are no rules. This is my art. This is who I am. Some days I get in the studio and I'm feeling aggressive and I'm feeling like I want to rap somebody's head off. And that's how I
Yep.
express, that's like going to the gym or just doing something to alleviate my stress or my, you know what I'm saying, or my harsh mental reality. Sometimes, my
Yep.
mental health suffers from certain things. So that's the way I get that out. That's kind of like a therapeutic thing when I rap. But
Absolutely. Yep.
but if I have a few drinks and I just got back and I'm hanging out at my boy's backyard and he's got a barbecue going and we start playing guitar and I'm not gonna make rap the way I would rap in New York in the wintertime when I got my Timberlands
Hmm.
on, and you know what I'm saying? And we rolling up a blunt in the studio. Like it's a different thing. It's like now I'm
Yeah,
outside.
different energies. Yeah, man. It's,
Yeah.
it's completely different.
I'm outside in the country. There's cows over here. There's chickens. I'm like, wow, this is so different, right? And then my boy got a guitar, and I'm like, yo, play that again. And I start writing something. Man, I ain't coming out here like, yo, hustling every day until we die, mother. That's not what I'm talking about right now. So, and it's okay to evolve, right? And it's okay to experience different things. So I feel like if I could do that successfully, the coolest part about that is maybe other people will be like, yeah, what am I doing? Why can't I try this? You know what I'm saying? The whole appropriating culture and stuff. I literally have no time for that. That is crazy.
Hmm.
When you talk to people within the culture, 99% of the time, they enjoy that you're enjoying it, like you're having fun, right? So it's the people outside, like, oh, especially I do a lot of reggae stuff, and people be like, oh, you're appropriating the culture, whatever. And what I'm doing is mimicking what I grew up on. So when I walked
Hmm.
outside, that's what I heard. Like I grew up on the Fugees, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
That's your life. That's your life
yeah,
experiences. Like
bro.
nobody can
Like
take that shit away from you. Come on.
that's exactly what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just being around like Beanie Man shit, like back in the day.
Yep.
Uh
Oh yeah.
that music felt so, even down to on a more pop level, like Shaggy. I'm obsessed with Shaggy, right?
Hmm.
Shaggy. It wasn't me, Shaggy. That shit, It Wasn't Me was arguably one of the first songs I ever heard in my life. So when they say where does that come from? It's like, bro, that's the music I love. So
Yep.
when I started making music, some of those things they would just come out. And then what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to overthink that and delete it and change it? No, right? So that's what I feel like more people gotta have the courage to do. Just create and then actually put out what you made, because that's what people want to hear. What you made, what you sat and made, not the stuff that you went back and revised and erased this and changed this because you wanted to appease this person or you didn't want to offend this person. If you just create something and put it out, um, that's the bravest thing you could do. You know what I'm saying? In my eyes. So especially when it's a completely different genre than anybody's used to, right? Like in my case, I went in the
Yes.
studio, I'm in Nashville, I'm around the country, I'm barbecuing, I'm drinking beer. I don't like beer. And I'm drinking beer and I'm starting to kind of enjoy it. And then I'm like, cool,
Yep.
I made this song. My first thought was, all right, maybe I can give this to a country artist, or maybe maybe I could whatever, like I'll just hold on to this or whatever. No way did I think, my first thought wasn't I'm gonna release this. Meanwhile, that's what I organically made. And it's so
Yeah.
natural. It's so authentic to me because it's like I just had the best time and I didn't think about anything. It just kind of spilled out. But my first
Yeah, you
thought
weren't
was,
even trying or forcing necessarily. You were just letting it flow.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, in a flow state, right? In a flow state, which is what like, that's what I want to do. That's what I aspire to do every
Yeah.
time, is to get into that state where I'm not thinking, it's just literally pouring out of me. And then in a couple hours, we have a song. That's
Hmm.
what I'm always looking to do. And there's some days that that doesn't exist. I go in there, I'm trying to force it. I'm trying to play some beats and I'm pushing it and I'm like not really feeling anything. And there's times when, wow, this just happened. I feel like the world is on fire. I feel energetic. I feel fulfilled. I feel happy, all the things. And then it's like, okay, wait, this doesn't sound like what I normally do. So don't show anybody this,
Hmm.
or try to shop into an artist that does this, right? That's my first thought. And then I was like, no, I'm gonna put it out. Fuck that. Because,
Yep.
right? Because it's like people might be
Why
like,
not?
yo,
Like, why
why
not? Like,
not?
for
What are
real.
you gonna do to me? Or how bad is it gonna be? You know what I'm saying? Even if people don't like it, okay. I don't like a lot of shit, dude. Most things I don't like. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
For every movie I watch, it's very hard. I'm a pretty tough critic. I'm like, that was good. It was all right. And then, it's like every once in a while a movie comes along, I'm like, wow, that hit the net. That was the most incredible movie I've ever seen. So that's okay. That doesn't make me not like the director if I don't love
Hmm.
it. You know what I'm saying? It's just fine. It's good. I like it. I'll watch another movie, but I don't love it. Nah. And when people drop music, it's like they just want everyone to love it. We all want
Yeah.
everybody to love it.
Which is
And
never gonna happen. It's
never
just
gonna
not.
happen, man. You know what I'm saying? You're never gonna get everybody to love it. And then when you find people who do love it, that's it, man. Like, that's the whole point of it. It's like, this helps people. This makes people's day a little better. This 3 minutes they escape on the way to work,
Yeah.
and it gives them some sort of feeling that is helpful to their life, right? It's that simple. Why are we overcomplicating this? I have people out there that do that, and I'm so grateful for that, dude. Like, I cry. I can't even talk to a fan. Like, someone who's actually a fan that may say a lyric from 6 years ago when I thought no one even would ever listen to it, and come up to me at a
Hmm.
meet and greet or something. Like, I'm crying, bro, because that's it. It's like, I'm not a millionaire from this. You know what I'm saying? I make a living doing this though. And
Yep.
and although we all want to be the biggest and the best and the greatest, and I aspire to be that and to continue to grow, but I would do this shit for nothing. Like, I would keep this alive. And there's been times, you know what I'm saying, where it's just that's the only reason I'm doing it, is because there's like, I've had shows only 30 people bought tickets. They wanted to cancel it. And oh,
Hmm.
you're gonna have to eat the money if you. I'm like, dude, the 30 people, they are so excited. You know what I'm saying? They are
And
so
I'm gonna go
fucking
out there and I'm gonna
excited.
give them a fucking show.
Yeah, dude. And like, I got my flight booked. I got everything ready. And but we were supposed to do 300 tickets, and we only sold 36. And I'm like, shit,
Hmm.
man, that's embarrassing. But when we got there, man, it turned out to be about half the room full. It worked out okay. Everything went well, but people get scared. They want to cancel. So like, I can't cancel it, man. I got to go out there for all 35 of those motherfuckers, man. They
Yeah,
are.
they're here for me. I got to be there for them.
Well, it's
Yeah,
like
bro.
they've been waiting 2 months, and they got it on their calendar Friday.
Yep.
And that's what's helping them maybe get through the shitty fucking Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Because
man,
they
I
know
don't
on
want.
Friday they're coming to see Jehry. Yep.
Right, but I don't want to give them that one extra fucking thing. Like, damn, bro, that got canceled. I was looking forward to that. And
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in just I definitely been through like depression, and you know what I'm saying, and just really like put myself through the ringer mentally, like most of us, because we have
Yeah.
these expectations, you know what I'm saying? And I'm super hard on myself. So I get that when I hear when people hit me up and they're like, they have that one thing. I tell them all the time, if it's a vacation, if it's a creative thing on a weekend that you're doing, if it's seeing a family member, just always have something that's like 2 weeks away on your schedule that you're excited about. And you don't,
Yeah.
figure something the fuck out, right? And then book the date, and make sure that when you have that bad day and you know, because I've had thoughts where it's like, man, I don't want to be here. What's the point, right?
Yeah,
You
bro.
know,
Yep.
a lot of us suffer with
We're
that. So
human, man. We're human, bro.
yeah,
It's man.
yeah. So just putting that date, right? Putting that date, it's a, you know, and then people will say, oh, I don't have any money, so I can't book a vacation or go to a concert or do whatever. So, you know, even sometimes if I could provide them, be like, hey, they'd be like, oh, I can't do that. Cool. When's, you know, I got a show coming up in your area here. You got free tickets. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll give you and plus one. And then it's like, well, I don't got gas. And some people are just so goddamn negative. It's like, man, that's why you are there. But at the end of the day, if you could just, you know, give people a slither of hope, you know what I'm saying? And no matter how that is, like that, no matter how you achieve that, that's my goal. I'm just trying to give people a little hope because it could feel hopeless. You know what I'm saying? The world is really, really rough. People, you know, people generally, like, it's not even like we don't care. We all have empathy. I do believe that. Like, you know, you see a woman in New York City, you know, having a seizure on the floor or something. It's like people are gonna help. But I grew up in a place where a lot of people, 90% of people walk by it. This girl's having a fucking full seizure, and you know, but it's like, hey, if you touch her and she goes into shock or something, or you know, you touch her the wrong way, she might hit you with like sexual harassment, or she might hit you with like you're not really supposed to touch anyone without their permission. Right? So it's a crazy world we live in, dog. So
it's a catch-22. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I grew up with people just not caring, and I know how tough it could be. And it's like, man, if I have this small group of people that I could be the person that changes that at least that day, that show, or whatever, or writing them back or whatever. I'm like, man, that's awesome. Right.
That's because you
I
can't
felt
buy
like I
that
didn't
shit.
have
That's
that
that's
person.
the cool thing. You can't buy that shit, bro.
Yeah.
That's wild. And you're right. And I really appreciate what you're saying there because you know what, man? Like you could look at anyone in this world, bro. Right? Me, you, whoever, bro. It don't matter. Everybody, I like to say this all the time. There's somebody out there that always has it better, and there's somebody out there that always has it worse. So
Facts.
be happy, be grateful, and have the gratitude for what you do have. And I really appreciate what you shared there about the feelings, right? Because you know whether somebody's going to think one way or the other about your music, your art, how you're moving in life, as long as you're not doing anything negative
Right.
that's hurting somebody, right? But sticking to the topic of music, like those are your feelings, bro. That's like you coming to me with a conversation, something that like I did to you that I probably shouldn't have, and you're coming to be like, "Yo, Mike, bro, that kind of cut me deep, bro. That was kind of fucked up, and here's why." And then I turn around and be like, "Well, bro, I don't give a fuck." Well,
Right.
bro, you're literally being vulnerable and sharing your feelings with me, and it's
Right.
really no different than music, right? Like, who am I? Who the fuck am I, or anybody else for that matter, to tell you that your feelings don't matter?
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, dude, we will put ourselves in positions where it's the most comfortable, where we don't have to necessarily talk, where we don't have to necessarily put ourselves on display. And then there are certain personality types that live for that shit. And they live to be in the spotlight. And they live to, so
Yes,
there's a lot of people that really, with a little bit more confidence, just a little bit more confidence, would be so much further in life. But they'll let that one person just like I mean, literally steal the mic, right? But in my situation, they would steal
yeah,
the mic. I was trying to say my
yeah.
piece on there, and then people would come up and they would take the microphone and then they would rap. And I'm like, damn, I had so much to say, right? So in that regard, it's like people in office environments or you know, family dynamics, whatever it is, it's like people just don't have that confidence to tell their sister, hey, you know what? No, here's what's going to happen. And they live like that for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you
Mm.
know? And I like to be the catalyst to help people with that little bit of confidence to be like, yo, like when people come up to me and they're like, oh man, don't forget the little people or, you know, stuff like that. You ever hear that? People say like, oh, don't forget
Yeah.
the
Oh
little
yeah.
all the time. And I hate that. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
why are you a little person? You're referring to yourself as a little person right now. And that's ridiculous, right? Because if I'm good at putting together music and making you feel an emotion, that's cool. But you're a truck driver or you're a teacher or you're whatever, probably way more versed in a lot of more things than I am sometimes, right? So why are you even giving me that? Like, of course, to some degree, I want you to listen to my music and I want you to support, and I'm beyond grateful. But don't put me on a pedestal that I'm doing
Yeah.
anything that's really like that cool. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you have good coffee and you start a coffee line, I'm gonna check out your coffee and support it, dude. It's no different. Anything that we're doing should be treated as such. And there's just
Hmm.
certain things like athletes and actors and like just like the idea of celebrity, I feel like is dying. There's no more celebrity in like I'd say 15 years. People will be 10 to 15 years. I do, especially with social media. You see
Yeah.
Justin Bieber, he's all tired and he supposedly is broke and lost all his money or whatever's going on with him. But it's so raw. It's like you see him outside of his house every day yelling at the paparazzi. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen that. You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah, I've been keeping up with that. Yeah, because people don't know what to really make of it these days,
right, and it's like,
honestly.
bro, this is a guy, a kid. He's 30, maybe, I guess. So yeah, he's a grown man. But he started as a kid, and now he's just a human being, dude. Why do we put that emphasis on them? I think that's kind of getting ridiculous. To what we're seeing too much now. We're seeing all the raw behind the scene when couples fight and they go live on social media while they're
Oh my
fighting.
God,
It's
yes,
stuff
bro.
like
Like,
that. It's just, we're all going through the same bullshit and we're all struggling in the same ways. If you talk to Justin Bieber, he'll tell you that he had a bad mental health week this week, right? And you'll be like, what? Right? This guy has everything, but think about what comes with that and what he's been going through in
yeah.
his own mind. You know what I'm saying? You may actually have more peace than Justin Bieber. You and I probably have way more peace, bro. So, we trade certain things. People give up their entire life for that. That's not something I'm necessarily even interested in, per
Hmm.
se. But I'm open to inspiring. I want my music to reach as many people as possible. Right. So I'm open to it all without selling my soul, right? Without
Yes.
jeopardizing who I am or acting any different. But you see those type of things. I just think the idea of idolizing people to that regard and people being these big celebrities, I think it's dying. And I think eventually it will phase out and we'll all figure out a new way to treat each other. You know what I mean? I mean that's my dream, I guess I should say. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, it's a good dream to have, and I agree with you because it is. I mean, especially with the day and age that we're in, as things continue to evolve with social media and just the access to everybody that
yeah,
you have these days that you didn't have as a kid growing up. You know what I mean? Where it's different. It's so different these days, and I agree because it's going to be more like from what you're saying. I think it's going to be more like in that 10, 15 years or whenever that period comes. That it's more just like, yo, okay, uh, people are going to look at you as like, okay, well, that's Jehry Robinson. Jehry Robinson happens to be a musician and he does this and he does this. It's not like, oh my God, Jehry Robinson, you know, the strange music artist necessarily, like some might think, today, right? And I don't think
sure.
there's nothing wrong with that because at the end of the day, you said it earlier, we're all human beings, right? We're all at the end, we're all human
Yeah.
beings that just happen to do different things and life. Like everybody has to play the role of a janitor. Someone's got to play the role of a musician, of an actor, of a baseball
Yeah.
coach, of a
And we're
whatever.
all
It's just
we're all so important though. You know what I mean? Like nothing works
yes,
without without the other. So there's a line of like I said, I love Dunkin' Donuts. I'm a huge fan of the coffee. But
yes, bro. Oh my God.
if I
Yep.
see the CEO, I'm not gonna be like, yo, you changed my life, dog. Like you get what I'm saying? I could support it every
Yes,
day.
bro. Yes.
Like, please support, but
Yep.
please don't put me on a pedestal at all
Yeah.
of that I've
Correct.
done anything that is miraculous. You know what I'm saying? Especially and there are certain people, that are out there trying to cure cancer and bring us to Mars and shit. But at the
Hmm.
end of the day, even those people, it just doesn't make sense to put people higher than yourself. And I think that's where it starts. And being confident. It's like, don't put yourself in a room when you look around, don't put yourself lower than anybody else. Like that's kind of our starting point, right? Especially if we are
Hmm.
trying to get a job or do something or sign a record deal, or we're in a room with people who are higher up than us in life or social structure or financially. Right away, it's like, oh wait, okay, let me maybe change who I am a bit because I want to make sure this. And I think if people just had the confidence to be themselves more and speak up and say those things that they really want to say, but they catch a vibe. But that's what my music does. Is it's like, so go start a company, dude. If you got that company for 10 years,
Hmm.
go fail. And
Yes.
if you knew, it takes the average millionaire, I think, entrepreneur, like 7 companies before they actually hit something that's super successful. So if you knew that guaranteed after 7 companies you would have a successful company, how quick would you get to the 8th one? If you knew you had to fail 7 times, you would just go out there and try to
Yes.
fail you would just go until you got there. But it's statistics. It's like, dude, stay in the game, do it, and keep going, and you will win. But not that easy. Comes at the risk
True.
of your mental health. It comes at the risk of your relationships, everything, because it's extremely hard to build something, to build a
Man.
company, or it's extremely hard.
Very
You
much
know,
so. I've built a couple. My family and I, when we moved here to Kansas City a couple months, we decided to start another one. So we have like 3 or 4 companies that we run, and it's not easy, bro. It's not,
nope.
and you gotta be ready for that, man. You have to, because it doesn't just happen. It's cool if you have a plan and an idea, but you know what? Unless you execute on that plan and an idea, well, guess what? That's all it is.
Well,
A
that's
cool
it.
plan and a
That's
cool
the
idea.
confidence. Like, call someone, DM. Like, I got people that have worked for me, and we work together. It's like, oh man, I hit him up a bunch, and then I'll be like, well, did you call him? Like, no, I
Hmm.
emailed him. Why did you not call? Oh, I don't like phone call. Like, call people. Like, that's a simple thing. Like, it takes confidence. Yo, what's going on, man? How you doing? Look, hey, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. I'll call the president of the United States right now. You know what I'm saying? If I wanted to
Yep.
talk to him and someone can provide the contact, I will call him right now. I will have him pick up and call.
Yes.
Like, I don't care,
Yep.
because what are they gonna do? They not like you? Say no? Like, who cares? And I think,
Closed mouth don't get fed, bro. You
yeah,
know that.
yeah. And even with that being said, sometimes I got all the confidence in the world and I just fail all the time. It doesn't work out. I don't get that call back. I don't get that email. I've worked on numerous different things, man. Like, I've put all my money into things at times, and started up a company with my best friend called Safety Script. And we're still moving, you know what I mean? But I put so much time and energy into it. And it was an idea to combat prescription drugs, which that
Oh,
was 5-6 years ago. And then it got just as bad as I knew it would, right? It's still bad. And went to fentanyl since, and it's
yep.
became, and I've lost so many friends. So that it's like, well, what's the problem? I have a solution or something that I think can help. I'm going to keep trying it. It's impossible, some of the
Absolutely.
ideas I have, right? But we wound up linking up with Macklemore and gave him equity in the company. He
That's
was
dope.
interested in the idea, right? And we still haven't done anything. And it's embarrassing. It's like, man, it's been years, and all this time and energy has been spent, and people invested in prototypes and getting a patent on things, and right. And man, we got so close. This person's gonna come, nothing. It's just about, I'm not done with it though. That's the thing. People are like, oh man,
Yep.
you failed at that. No, that might take 15 years. No one said how long it's going to take. I
Correct.
never gave you a timeline. Same thing with my music. Oh man, you ain't getting number one. That, I've been saying since the beginning of my career, I'm out here to make a number one song. I'm making a number one
Hmm.
song. And then people are like, oh man, you haven't done. No, I haven't done it yet, dude. Right?
I'm still here
That's it.
doing it though.
I will do it because solely statistically, I will do it because I will continue to go. And guess what? I grow every time. Look at my last single. What? That's crazy, right? So at the end of the day, that is like what I'm doing out here. I'm trying to just continue to do it. So when I tell people that they could do it, they actually believe me, because they're not going to believe you unless you do it, right? So
Correct. The proof is always in the pudding, bro.
that's my motivation to do it, is to show people that they could do it, you know, and not quite there yet on a lot of fronts, but will be, you know what I'm saying? And I just wish more people had that thought process. I was like, oh yeah, I tried that. It didn't work. What do you mean it didn't work? You're only 30, 32 years old, dude. You're done? That's it? You're not going to try that? Oh, well, I can't because I got this, this, and this. Well, if you think you can't, then you're right.
It's that mentality. It's that mindset, right? It's crazy. We had a I'm not sure if you're familiar with this individual I'm not about to mention. Gentleman by the name of Monster Yo. Monster Yo has been incarcerated for 31 years. He's 47 years old, right? This individual spent his first 17 years in solitary confinement. All right. This dude, from where he is, and he gets out this year, by the way, as well, for anybody that's wondering out there. But y'all got to go check out Monster Yo. And he tapped in with us earlier. I don't know if you're still with us, King. Shout out if you're with us, Monster Yo. But this individual, from where he's been for 31 years, right? This dude has been a part of writing 16 books. This dude has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. This dude is the owner, CEO, or partner in multiple companies. And this dude has done tracks. He's a rapper as well. This dude is done. Oh, he also runs a suicide hotline that is actually connected to the National 988 suicide hotline as well. From
the Logic song.
Bro, yeah, dude, it's crazy. And this individual has done tracks with Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Cocaine, Ice Cube, like you name it. And he's done it from where, you know, he doesn't have the everyday capabilities that you and I or most people watching this to step literally outside and move about how we want.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know. I didn't know you could do that, some of that stuff. But shout out, I don't know if you know my homie X-Rated, dog. Like
X-Rated, him and I talk every so often. Him and I, he owes me a sit down. Let's put it that way. Because I had the privilege. I was his guest at Strangeland back in November, which was, man, talk about a kid in a candy store, bro. Wow, what an experience. We'll get to that. But X-Rated is a beautiful human being. Look what he's accomplished, bro.
Like, amazing. He's one of the most inspirational guys I've ever had the honor of meeting and you know, working alongside as a label mate and all that. Like, he is just he's a special guy. And honestly, I think he got the I mean, don't hold me to it, but I think he got the record for like the most releases while, you know, I don't know. That's a taboo thing. Like, I don't know the specifics on that, so I will not speak on anything about that. But yeah, I think you know, he's one of the pioneers, or if not the pioneer of doing that. And that's incredible. I really think, and that goes to show your boy right there. Like, people just, it's like the guy who doesn't go to the gym and he makes a million excuses, and then you see the guy with no legs and he's on the pull-up bar. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, it's just, you know, we are capable of so much mentally. We could do so much if we just apply a different thought process, right? It's like a machine. It's like putting a prompt. We are Chat GPT. Like, Chat GPT is essentially based after us, right? That's what it's learning how to do, is be.
That's where it's all getting the information from, everybody in the world.
Yeah, but like, and everyone's like, well, it's so much smarter, you know, and that's true. That is very true. It's gonna be, you know, the smartest thing in the world, but we are extremely smart. Even the dumb people are smart, right? If they just train themselves to remember certain things and think a different way. But we, you know, one of the biggest things I find with people is just like, we become very, very kind of addicted to our thought process, and we become stuck. We just, there's so many people. It's like, that is what they have learned. That is what is embedded almost in them. And there's certain people, you know, I don't have the energy or time to try to help or change, you know, or you know, better their life. And I want to, you know, even personal friends and stuff like that. But it's like, man, you know, so We can't worry about that. We can't worry about everyone, but there are so many people that are ready. Our minds are so capable to do amazing stuff. And it's like, how do we tap into that? And that's what I try to do in all ways, outside of just music. There's certain things that I'm working on that I am super duper excited about that are solely just to like help people see their potential. I'm like Tony Robbins or Gary V. Gary V's
Mm-hmm.
always, like, I feel like that, and that's like super cringy and annoying in a lot of ways. Like, I get that side of that, but it's like needed. It is a necessary
Yes.
evil because those guys help so many people. You know what I mean? So for all the people that can't stand that, I get it. But there's the other half who are so inspired by it. So trying to find a line to like do that, right? And but you can't care. Those guys don't care if you call them cringy, dude. Like
Yeah.
Gary V does not give a fuck, dude.
They're
You know what I'm
happy
saying?
with themselves. They're doing
Yeah.
things and they're good in life with where they are, and that's what it's ultimately about, right? Because it's no different than we were talking about earlier when, like, yo, listen, not everybody's gonna like your music, and that's not what it's about either. It's no different than you talking about Gary Vee or Tony Robbins. Like, not everybody's gonna subscribe to them, but the people that are subscribing to them, well, they're getting something out of it. And
Yeah.
and that's what they are doing it for. No different that you are making the music that you're making when the time feels right and the universe is telling you to make that music because you're ultimately making it, and we collectively as artists are making it for the people who are ultimately meant to hear it in the end. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, and
it's
that's it, man. If that's the one thing I could say anytime on any platform is like, uh, you know, we just want to reach people. So when people are listening to this and they don't know me, it's like my music is basically just a testament to everything I've been through, and it's like the best way I could show you how I've dealt with it, right? So you can take it or leave it, you know, but it definitely taps in, it taps into different things. And there's people like, yo, I started up an LLC, dude, because I'll say so. I have lines about LLCs on some of my records, right? It's like they didn't know what an LLC was, right? So I
mm-hmm.
made them Google, just try to be like, okay, yeah, uh, that's cool to me. To me, it's like that's bigger than yo, that shit's fire, dog. Right? Even if the person
Yeah,
thought
because you're
that,
giving something that they can use to try and
right.
evolve themselves as an individual human being. And like,
Yeah, and
bro,
then they
that's
come to the
what's
meet and
more
greet
beautiful than that.
a year later and they're like, yo, it's been going great. And this guy opened up a gym and this guy quit his job at the post office and went, and it's a weird, like, I always tell them too, like, I am not reliable for anything. I was not giving the end
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
prescription drug
yeah,
commercial speech, but it's like, all that. And it's like, you didn't, it's that same shit. Like, I didn't do that. You did that. But
hmm
I'm glad that I could even just spark that idea. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So that's pretty powerful stuff, dude. That's like powerful juice. That's like the juice that I tell people, like, that's what I'm in it for. And that's the
Yes.
juice. And you really change somebody's thoughts and you really change the way they started moving. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a huge thing. And it's like, I just did that by being like, hey, yo, here's what I learned. Here's what I learned. So
Just sharing your
maybe
experiences as
maybe
a
you
human
can
being,
avoid.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cause I'm 30 and y'all are 18, 19, 20, 15, whatever, kids listening. And it's like I could maybe we're gonna quote Jay-Z line number 3 because
Let's go. Let's
we're in the
go.
East Coast. That's why. But what did he say? Like, Hov did that so you don't have to go through that, right? He said,
Yes.
like I told you, sell drugs. Now I hold that, so you don't have to go through that, right? I don't know what song that is even, but it's like, no, I did this, so hopefully you could learn, and you don't have to do it. And then all along the way, I'm out here rooting you on. I'm out here like, bro, I got you. What's up?
hmm
And it's cool. I'm quick with the share or promo in somebody's business if I believe in it. I'm quick to, it's like whatever. I might have all in all 100,000 people that connect through all my social medias and stuff. And that's a lot of people, man. So it's like I feel like I know those people and they trust me and I love them. That's like my family. So I'm quick to be like, hey man, go to this guy's mechanic shop. He's fire. He saved us on
Yeah.
tour. All right. If you're in Michigan, make sure you go there. And
Just go see homeboy. Yep.
yeah, that's what it is. It's like, man, like just more of that, bro. More of that, like community growing together vibe, you know.
It
That's
is. I love that you say that, because I was just
what.
about to say, life is about, attracting your vibe, right? Your vibe will attract your vibe. Your vibe will attract your tribe, bro. And that's what it's about, because I don't want to. Not everybody's for everybody, but at the same time, I'm a firm believer, and I've been saying this a lot lately. Like, we were not put on this earth to be alone. We
Yeah.
just weren't. So find that tribe that you ultimately belong with, or you
You have
feel
kids,
in
my
your
dude?
heart of hearts. Yeah, I do. I got an almost 11-year-old
God bless
daughter, bro.
you.
Appreciate
God
it, man.
bless you,
She's
man. Yeah. And that's the next
it's
step. A lot of like, you know,
yes.
I haven't had children yet on that journey right now. That's what I wish to do in the very near future. You know, with my wife, build a family, do all those things. And you know, it took me a lot of time to understand like what I want out of that.
Yeah.
And some of the people that have children that are my fans, it's like that's the actual biggest thing we could do, right? That's the biggest legacy play is
Best
to
role I've ever played in my life, bro.
God bless you,
100%. I've
man.
done some
Yeah.
cool shit, bro, but that is
I
nothing
mean,
will
you
ever
were
top
creating a
that.
human, dude. You created a human being that's going to go out there and change the world and do amazing things and
Yes.
fall in love and whatever, right? So, a lot of people, even I got a song early on with Jelly Roll called "Daddy Issues." It's about my niece, and like her pops went through, and honestly, he came back around and he's doing well, and he's a you know it's not even saying he's the worst person in the entire world, I guess, but it's just a testament to being there and doing the best you can, and no matter how bad we fuck up, because we're just people,
Correct.
coming back around and whatever. So that's an important thing. And I see a lot of people struggling with that shit too, like to this day, because of some of the records I make, you know what I'm saying, about some of my stories. It's like people really went through shit as a parent, you know what I'm saying, that will connect. And it really is the most like amazing thing you could do. And I'm not even a parent yet, so I can't even imagine. Like, it feels so powerful, just the stories that people tell me, right? And what it means to be a parent. And if the music could inspire that in a good way,
Yeah.
inspire the dads to be dads and the moms to be moms, and like just make sure that the next generation we're growing like well thought out good people out there. You know what I'm saying?
We
So
have to, because it's for the future, bro. Because you're
yeah,
right. What kind of legacy are we going to ultimately leave, man? And like the next generation, I mean, they have it. It's tough as it is out there, and anything that we could do within our power, as the ones with experiences and the quote unquote elders, OGs, unks, whatever you want to call us, when we get
yeah,
to a certain age gap, right?
yeah,
You have an opportunity, man, to really make an impact on
sure.
somebody's life, and it's so different. That's actually what brought me to Kansas City, truth be told. Because I actually ended up having I'm not sure if you're familiar with Joe Black, music producer out of Kansas
Yeah,
City.
yeah, I know Joe Black.
So
Shout out Joe Black.
so solid dude. You know what he's doing. So I connected with him via the live cast last summer, and he actually called me a day later, and he's like, "Yo, yada yada yada. Would you come up?" And I lived in Oklahoma City at the time, so 5-hour drive. And bro,
Right.
I'll drive cross country in my no problem, bro. So I was like, bet, bro. He was like, can you come and help us out with some live podcasting? Because he runs the District Is Foundation, which is a nonprofit for the youth here in Kansas City, underserved, underprivileged. It's a safe space where they could come in and they can create musically, videography, all gaming. We're getting into gaming and stuff like that. But it's an environment we're building right now. An 11,000 square foot building is being built out for the district side of things, but will very much include the District Is Foundation, where these high school kids primarily, but a couple different age groups as well, because it's all about giving everybody that opportunity, right? So, and
So
that's what moved me here, because like you said, like putting your energy and intent out there, like literally, he just called me up and was like, "Yo, I would love for you to come and do this." Bet. I came up to Kansas City, spent like 3-4 days, great experience. Went back, ended up hooking up with because you had mentioned X-Rated earlier. I ended up hooking up with X-Rated's basically brother, Dooney, OG Dooney. Him and X are very close, you know, spent some time together, and after the fact. And so I connected with Dooney, and, you know, Dooney and I are brothers. Dooney, actually, I flew Dooney out from Sacramento when we moved out here. And he actually flew out from Sacramento to help us move 5 hours. Like, come on, bro. And I just met
Wow.
Dooney this summer. You
That's
know what I mean?
crazy.
And it was cool, you know. And so like then we came up to Kansas City again. So me, Dooney, I'd already been hitting X-Rated up even before I got into my relationship with Dooney, because I just appreciated X-Rated and his story and what he's doing, from, you know, what he's had in the past and where he's at now. It's a beautiful story. People, like, go listen to that shit, man. Like, it's crazy. And then like after that, I was like, after that trip, I was like, Joe, I was like, bro, I'm like, I don't know what y'all got going on here, if you got room for me, but I was like, I want to be a part of this. If you got room for me, bro, like with my experiences and how I could connect with kids, because I used to coach youth basketball, youth baseball, and stuff like that, right? I just love being able to. I want three things in life, bro. This is for anybody watching this right now. If you don't know me, here's me in a nutshell. I want to take care of my family in life. I want to be an asset to people, and I want to make music. I don't want anything fucking else. I don't want anything else. That's it. So I was like, Joe, if you got a spot for me, bro, I will move up here. And, you know, here we are 6 months. That was a conversation 6-7 months ago. And here we are now. I live in Kansas City with my family. Yeah. Yep.
God bless, man. God bless.
So we're hoping to open doors August 1, you know, in its entirety. So, you know, things are coming along. It's a dope thing going on there. But that's literally what we need to Kansas City, being an asset to people. Like, if you could do, like, the shit that has happened, bro, like, just because I've always been that way, right? I've always been like, I'm not, dude, I did not grow up with much at all, bro. I grew up, you know, my father was an immigrant from Eastern Europe, bro. Came over here in the high school years, didn't speak English. My mom was a waitress, God rest her soul. She passed away like 7 years ago. I didn't grow up with much, bro, at all. Like, shared a room with my sister until I was like 7, 8, 9 years old, whatever it was. My wife, you know, my brother-in-law, you know, they grew up in the foster system. You know, it's, you know, so everything that we ever achieve in life, man, we definitely don't take for granted. We don't, bro. But and it's always been that way. But like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you know, I changed my mindset. It was like, really, all right, take being an asset to another level, right? And once I did that with true intent, the shit that's been happening to me, dog. Like, if you would have told me a year ago that I would have been at Strange Music, you know, for like damn near the whole week that I was in November, hanging out with X-Rated, getting to meet Tech Nine, and like be in the studio as X-Rated create new music, and meeting Matt Phoenix, and getting to meet Joey Cool, I would have been like, you're out your goddamn mind, bro. But again, that was a mentality then.
I made a similar move. I went to Kansas City quite some time, man. We actually went like right before the pandemic, and the world shut down. Like, I originally planned on leaving and going right back to New York, and then the world shut down, and it was just better and safer. And I wanted to like get the house there. And we stayed for like 3 years, 3.5 years. And it was dope out there, bro. You know, I was touring a lot. You know what I'm saying? I was on the road a lot of the time, but just incredible. Like the you referenced the space over there in Kansas City, the studios, the merch facilities. It was literally like so impactful for me when I went there. I couldn't get it out of my head. I went back to New York at the time, and I just couldn't get it out of my fucking head. And loved it. I loved it. We, you know, made some amazing music too. Like, that was, you know, I just feel like really was a special moment when I even first flew into Kansas City, dude. Well, it will always have like the most special place in my heart, dude. You know what I mean? That's second home for sure.
It is. So. Yo, bro, for real, like, it was crazy the first time we came here, because we just came up here on a whim. My wife and I were just like, literally, because we're very spur of the moment people. We'll stop, drop, and roll like in a second. And it was a Saturday night. We're like, yeah, you want to go to Kansas City tomorrow? Bet, let's go. We'll drive up 5 hours, and we did it. And like, you know, what I really appreciate about it is I left Bridgeport, Connecticut. I moved away from Bridgeport, Connecticut to move to Colorado back in 2011 for a job that I was working with at the time. And coming to Kansas City and now being here for a couple months, I kid you not, no bullshit, bro. This is the most comfortable I've felt in a place ever since I left my place of origin.
Where you at out there?
I'm Southside Kansas City, East 100th Street.
East 100.
Kind of going towards like Grandview, like heading towards I guess the next town south of us is like Belton. So like the next town is like Belton, like south of us, Belton, Grandview, something like that.
I was out there in Lynn Summit, bro. It was like Pleasantville in Kansas. It's beautiful. Just like everything is clean and nice. I almost felt yeah, I felt like it was a culture shock when I first went to Kansas City.
Oh,
I moved from
I was going
Brooklyn.
to ask you that.
Yeah, I moved from Brooklyn to rock in Lee Summit, which is pretty like a definitely like Pleasantville, dude. Like
Very
nice,
much.
nice lawns, nice whatever. People were really about the green lawns. It's just different vibe. But
Completely different, bro.
yeah, but yeah, now I'm out in Nashville, and I would say Nashville's a good blend between like New York and Kansas City. It's like
I think that's fair to say. I think I've been a couple.
yeah.
I love Nashville, bro. Love
But
Nashville.
I'm like you, man. Yeah, we move around. We chase wherever I feel. But
Yes.
I definitely probably want to lay my roots in New York. Like that's always come back to that. You know what I'm saying? And grow old
Yeah.
where I was born and where my family is. And it's a lot. It's a lot to be just away because I have so much family there. It just extends. You know what I'm saying? Cousins, aunts, uncles, and new kids. You know what I'm saying? Nieces, nephews. Now,
Yeah.
so it's a special. It's definitely special. But Kansas City's fucking awesome, dude.
It is, man. I'm a huge fan here. How
Yeah.
how y'all like Nashville overall though? In the time that
Nashville's
you've been
amazing,
there,
dude. Yeah, just musically the collaboration's insane and people just
man.
open and I feel like, it's different. Like people be like, "Oh, I went to Jamaica and it sucked," right? Like Jamaica
Hmm.
sucked, dude. I thought Jamaica's like a great time. He's like, "Nah, dude, it sucks. You don't want to go there." But then it's like, well, you went on Groupon, and no disrespect, like got the $88 special, whatever, right?
Yep.
And you went with, or it might not even just be money. It's like you went with the wrong group of people. You picked the wrong. But then it's like getting to that point where it's like, oh, okay, this place is dope. I just didn't do it the right way. You know, that's
You,
it.
you, you gotta you gotta know what's going on, man. You can't just like hope something's gonna be good, like without putting any kind of like work into it. It's like kind of like showing up to the studio and just thinking like without putting any kind of preparation that like you're just gonna go one take it and you're gonna have a fucking hit. Nah, man. Like, yeah, you might be able to show up and kind of like you talked about, show up and let's see what we come up with in a couple hours. But you can't just
Right.
walk up to the mic with no intent in your mind, be like, yo, 30 minutes, I got a banger. I'm winning a Grammy off this motherfucker. I'm sorry, like.
Yeah.
Maybe like, but that's like winning the lotto, bro. Is it possible? Yes, anything is possible, but that's not the norm. That's not going to be the norm for that shit to happen. And people,
Yeah, it just takes
people got
it
to
takes
get
a lot of swings. You got to just studio wise, you got to
yes,
just be in there. You got to just be making songs. And if you're not making
correct.
songs all the time, then you probably don't love it. And if you don't love it, run far away
Hmm.
because you know what I'm saying. It's not an easy game. Even the people I know that are at the top of their craft, and from songwriters to artists and stuff, like you have to really want this shit. You know what I'm saying? You have to really, especially being an artist, you got to really like dive into that and be all about it. So if you're not making that many records just naturally, it's usually not the best sign, right? Because someone's not really trying
Hmm.
to do this. You know what I'm saying? As a producer or something, like I'm a producer. I'm making music all the time. All the time.
Yes,
That's my default. You know what I'm saying? It's my default mode. If I have that free time, that moment, okay, cool. We're gonna cook. We're gonna create. You know what I'm saying? And it's like
which is
having that.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's like that shouldn't be like, yo, we're working hard. That should just be the how you feel. You know, what I mean,
Yes,
what you would do regardless. If anything, if you had that time, you would make this. If you were making no money, if you had nothing, what would you be doing? And that's what
correct.
I would be doing. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to make
And
it
and that's
shitty.
where that pure artistry comes in. That's where it
Yeah.
comes in. Like because and again, like I said to you earlier, like you could tell. I mean, again, no different than when I talked with Discreet earlier. And Discreet's a producer himself, and he's like, so he gets it. Like he did. He heard that one. I don't recall what song he said that he had listened to, but he had called me immediately. He's like, yo, holy shit. He's like, why have I not known about this dude? I just said, you're welcome. I'll see you on the live cast in a little bit, and left it at that though. You know what I mean? But
That's right.
that's the beautiful thing about because him and I talk all the time. It's like it'll come up like there are people like yourself as you just described who I'm making music because I fucking love it and I'm passionate about it and that's just what I'm gonna do. That's my default mode, right? And then there's other people. And it might not even necessarily be the artist themselves. It might be the producer or the label head or the A&R or whatever that they're making music just to make the money. You know what I mean? And in some
Right.
cases, you're going to know who those people are in time. Sometimes it does take a little time to really get that. But again, if you are at least tapped in with yourself to the point where you can understand your own frequencies, your own energies, well, then you should be able to pick that up from the other people that you are viewing around you, whether it's in person, through a screen, watching a video, listening
Yeah.
to something, looking at a piece of their art, whatever the case is. And that's the dope thing about artistry. Artistry is that, music is a universal love language. Like, come
Yeah.
on, man. Like
It is,
you're
it is,
literally just
it
speaking
is special,
the language
man.
of the
It's
world.
a special thing, and I always loved it. I always continue, but it's also sometimes it gets to the point of I put up a post not too long ago. It's like I usually call it heroin, and it felt like it was destroying my life. And all I did, it was like, man, I missed. I used to be a video editor, which is eerily similar to like music production. And I would
Hmm.
edit videos and I'd have to get them in, but I'd be editing like wedding videos for like 3 hour long wedding videos and doing like 2 or 3 a week. And they were good. They were like, I'd sometimes like $1,800 a piece. Right. And I'd have like 4 of them. And that's how I was like paying my bills. So I would have to do
Yeah.
them. And I would just like wind up missing it because I'd stay up all night and get inspired by a song. And I would feel I would be so hard on myself, like, dude, you're an idiot. Like, why are you doing this? Like, as I'm making the song, I'm like, yo, I gotta capture this right now. Like, I have to, but I know I have a woman coming to review her wedding video, like a bride.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I like things like that where I was always working 100 jobs. Like I was always doing that. You know what I'm saying? Or helping people. I'd help people with websites or whatever, or catch a
Hmm.
job over here. Like I was a creative director at a fashion company for a while. I worked with guy Alex. My brother, he's like a mentor of mine. And he's a fashion guru. Started Caffeine, which is a giant line, and then Members Only is an iconic brand. They make jackets like
Oh
this.
yes.
Belt.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so they were like, he was rebranding them. He was helping, and I did that for a while. Like I was just always doing a million things, and trying. And it was like this one would be $500, and this one would be, 600 and 200, and doing a quick edit job for a video, or bouncing down stems for people and sing a song at the same time. Like always that amount of it's like erratic, just erraticness, and then got to a point where I took all that erraticness and got to a point with the music where I went out to Kansas City and created an album. And I could use all of the, helping with the websites and helping with the mixing and the mastering and helping with the video editing and charging people in like the hood, to do all this shit.
Yep.
I could quiet all that noise and make an album. And that, that's where 2020 came from. You know what I mean?
No,
Just
dude,
actually
that's hella dope.
yeah.
And
Yeah. It was
I
really
appreciate you sharing that because a lot of people don't realize that as well, right? People just think, okay, most people, anyways, right? Musicians just they get discovered. Man, there's so much that goes on, like that you, if you want to chase your dreams, right? You have to be willing to sacrifice something, and for everybody, that's something different, right? Maybe that was for you having to work multi different jobs. I'm like for me, same thing. Like right now, I'm very similar to what you said earlier. Like I don't necessarily want to be like the biggest celebrity at the end of the day. I want my music to reach as many people for the reasons that I'm putting my music out there with the intent behind it to reach somebody,
yeah, I
right?
just want like
But
all the comments, I want all the feedback,
yeah,
right? And we
that's
all
what
want
that's
that.
yeah.
But all that comes with it, you know what I'm saying, is not always incredible. That's not always the
No.
best part, right? All the criticism, if you have people just won't like you and be mean, that's like, all right, to get to a point, where there's like more hate, like a lot of business people, they'll be like, yo, that's good. Like that's right. They want that.
Hmm.
So to generate, on a public forum, on a PR type thing, it's good to maybe have a little beef or do this, or be really
Correct.
extra on your social media, say some shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't really. That's one thing I don't really play with that. You know what I mean?
Man, I don't blame
I'm
you.
not trying to shock anyone. I'm not trying to offend anybody. Maybe I should a little more. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe I should a little more. I don't want to. I don't like to say some shit or make people upset or make people feel like they were alienated or whatever. Like I wouldn't say I'm liberal. I wouldn't say I'm on the other side. I don't really have a side. I'm definitely
Hmm.
independent. I'm definitely independent. You know what I mean? But it's like I like shit that Donald Trump says sometimes, right? I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
cool. And I like, on the other end, I'll be like, oh, that's great. That's awesome too, right? So I don't really know. And I know everybody is just doing what they got to do. And, you know, uh,
Correct.
so that's what it is. But so I support the people in power, dude, because I feel like since when is it, you know what I mean? It's like I salute to us. So we're doing the best we can all around. And it's a lot. It's a lot of shit, dude. You know what I'm saying? So
It, ain't that the
that-
truth, man? Ain't
yeah.
that the
So we
truth?
just we I don't really like to say something that's gonna alienate people, make them feel like, oh man, like I didn't know Jerry felt this way. Even just that, I just said I like some of the things that Donald Trump said. So
Hmm.
that's oh,
Somebody's
right
gonna
there.
take
You
that and be like, "Oh,
put
fuck
that
this dude!" Right?
right, right. So it's like, and they're not gonna listen to the whole interview. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, he loves Donald Trump. Like, I don't love I don't love anyone in that like space. I don't have any kind of real loyalty. I just feel like it's definitely an intense thing, and
Nah, you're right.
saying
Because
it
people are gonna
it
perceive
hurts
what they
people.
want to perceive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. Saying the wrong thing. It like hurts people. It got I got people that are mad at me from family members or whatever, and it's like I don't want to do that. That's not what I'm here for.
Hmm.
I'm doing this interview. You want to talk about my music and helping people, inspiring people, yeah. But it's like, yeah, to go into something and then no matter how I feel, because I got a million different opinions, but that's
Yeah.
just not what I'm here to do. Because my opinions aren't even real educated ones most of the time, or I don't really have a full opinion. I just have thoughts I can give you.
Hmm.
That may or may not be right, but that I don't really put my time into that or pushing those things. I don't feel that passionately about any of that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Over helping
Nah.
people
Yeah, bro.
or
Right? Come on.
just make people feel good, dog. Right? Let's make some good shit. Let's make people happy. And if you like this person or that person or whatever, all good, bro. I want everybody to be able to. I'm just delusional, is what I'm saying. I'm just kind of delusional where it's like, whether you like this candidate or this candidate, I wish everybody could come to my show and just come sing the songs and not talk about that. That's not realistic. I've put that up before and people just bash me like, like, dude,
Hmm.
yeah, right. I ain't sitting next to no motherfuckers like this, or, I would never sit next to a rapist, like whatever it is. Like, God, I'm just saying, I want everyone to come and have a good time. And maybe we can
Yes.
leave that at the door for like the hour of my set. We could just put
Yes,
it,
man.
but like, I can't ask that. Like, I've lost fans for saying that. I'm right now. People will be like, if he feels like that, I'm out. It's like, okay, cool. Then you probably won't come to the
Yo,
show and have a good time like everybody.
bro.
Like what?
Bro, that is so true, and I've lived that. I'm a partner with my brother who I went to high school with, but I mean we've known each other for 30 plus years, man. At this
Yeah.
point, right? And I joined his company because one of my specialties is helping people build brands, build companies. I'm a visionary. Like I can see shit and connect dots in a way that
Yeah.
the
When this is
typical average
over, I
person
want to
can't,
I
right?
want to talk to you, man. Off the record, I want to talk to you. I have a few questions for you outside of
No,
this.
I would welcome that because I was going to actually say, can I hit you up because something that you said earlier that I wanted to pick your brain a little bit more
Yeah.
about. So man, 100% for real. And it's funny because we're a hospitality and event company, like private events. So like for example, I went back to New York City, Connecticut area back in May because we threw the WWE, their WrestleMania 41 wrap party, right?
Oh,
So
sick, dude.
we through a part, so I partnered with him on that. So like one of the big things that we're doing this summer that we came up with, it's a cosmic disco show, right? So it's just it's vibing out to like the 70s, 80s, 90s old school music in a fun, vibey way as a throwback, right? And
Yeah.
we're gonna start doing like cosmic hip hop and cosmic rock and all kinds of other plans that we got going on. And it was crazy when we first unrolled this, we did something very similar from a commercial standpoint where we put out, it's just like, yo, cosmic disco is literally just exactly what you said, a place where you could come for a couple hours, leave all your cares in the fucking world alone, just come out, vibe out, have a good time, don't worry about
Right.
who's vaccinated, who's not, blah blah blah. And because of like that one thing, man, the comments about vaccinations that started going into things, it's like, well, you know
Yeah.
what? The beautiful thing is you don't have to fucking come. If you don't like it, then don't fucking come. Like,
Right. And it's like, you're alienating your fan base. It's like, bro, I just I wish it's like, it's not that I don't have this is a good thing to say. Like, it's not that I don't have the courage to say my political stance. It's that I'm not passionate enough about those statements to stand on them. If I want to stand on them, you know what I'm saying? But even down to doing my research, it takes me a long time to come to what's going on, right? In a certain situation.
yes.
So if something breaks in the news and it's like, I'm taking this side and I'm taking this side. It takes me a long time to be like, wait, okay, so this started back then. What is really going on? I don't think I'll ever fully understand that. So I don't feel strongly enough to make a fucking post or support either way. But I support love and humanity and
Amen.
empathy. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, bro, I don't feel, it's not that I'm afraid to say how I feel. I just literally don't feel like strong enough on a lot of things, you know? It's like, oh, do you think Donald Trump is the future? I don't fucking know. I'm not a political analyst. I'm not an expert at that. You know, Dave Chappelle said back in the day, it's like, oh, the Twin Towers were knocked down. He said he remembers in 2001, they were like, we're with Ja Rule. Ja Rule, what do you think? And he's like, I don't give a fuck what Ja Rule thinks about this. Like, he doesn't know shit about what's going on.
It's true though, right?
Yeah, so why would you even give a fuck what I have to say about that? That's not, certain things, right? Certain things is like, I'm not here for that. I'm just, that's not who I am, dude. I'm not somebody who's out here talking about politics or going against the side heavy. I'm not picking a side and rocking with. Like, I don't like that. I don't like to do. Not that it's a bad thing. I think it's cool. I think people say what you feel. Everybody should be able to do that. Everybody should be able to say whatever they want. You know what I mean? But
I agree.
But yeah, I just don't feel the need to have that energy. I hate that energy of like, if I say a certain name, it's like a curse word. And it's like, now I just ruined, like you said, with the who got vaccinated. It's like you say that word and then it takes away from the fact that we're doing a concert or my song's coming out. The whole fucking comment section is about vaccination. I'm not trying to talk about that. I'm not talking about it. It's annoying. It's just annoying. It's unnecessary. So that's what that's my stance on that, I guess. Somehow what I just said is probably controversial. That's why I should have just said no comment, but that's how I really feel.
But you know what? But here's the cool thing, bro. And I want to get quick shout out. High def. I know is normally behind the Unconventional Kings. Unconventional Kings tapped in with us. What up, fellas?
Oh, hell yeah,
man. You're right though, because people are going to have their feelings, people are going to have their perception, and sometimes it might be to make themselves feel good or because they think that your opinion or your thought is wrong. Well, again, I mean, there's 7 billion plus people in the world or something like that. Yeah. You're right. Who knows what's right and who's not? Like this whole thing going on, this whole thing that's going on this weekend with the world. That's we might be going into World War fucking 3. But again, we don't know what's right or whatnot because you know what? I don't have the information that these motherfuckers have.
Yeah, well, I just pray that everything we don't die and everybody's okay.
Man, right?
Like, how is that just not like the public stance on a lot of it? Like true. That harm is done, right? We're not gonna undo what's going on. We're in a situation. So, like, okay, we pray everything's okay, and if you are religious, you have some sort of God or you have something that is higher being than you that you believe is looking after you, and that's really it, man. It's like God bless, it's just Godspeed on some stuff like that. So it's like to fight and argue about it or to disagree so heavy. It's like, bro, we should all just kind of just unite. But that again, that's a delusional thing in my mind. Like, I'm a grown man, and it's like I still say shit like that. People like from my hood where I can't come from, you know what I mean? People like they'll be like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Right? Like, that's not, but I still feel like, all right, that's what I hope for, though. I could still hope for that. I can still have belief in trying to see that, but it's like, what else are we doing? I'm not going to entertain all the nonsense, though. People on either
you're
side.
Right.
I'm out.
No, you're right, bro. And
I bless all y'all. Yeah.
And you have to be, right? Because what you just said there reminded me of something that Tupac said back in like 94, 95. He's like, yo, at the end of the day, I might not be the one to change the world, but I might be the one that sparks the person that will change the world. Like,
Yeah,
and
dude.
that's all. Life is going to go on after us. And you know what? Using him as an example, Tupac was on the live, what, 96? I think it was 96. And I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty confident that day I was a sophomore in high school because I remember it was a Saturday when he actually passed away. And
Yeah,
it was a
Tupac died in 96 for sure. Yeah,
Yep,
that's a fact.
yep, because I was a sophomore in high school. And I mean, look at the way people talk about him today like he's still alive, like people who were not even close to being born when he was
Right.
around, let alone being young when he was around. And people, and right, so because the impact that he made, not just on the culture, but I think globally, worldwide. Like
Oh,
it's wild. It's wild. But you that no bullshit, bro. What you said made me think of that because you're right, bro. And you can't have that hope. And you know what, Jehry? Real talk, bro. That might happen. Who knows? It might happen 200 years down the road. If
but
the
I just want to,
world's
yeah, I
still
want
here.
my, when I leave, it's like that's what I'm about. That's what he tried to do. That's what he tried
Yes.
to do. And that's where I'm at. Like I'm not saying I'm fucking Gandhi or nothing, but like
Nah.
I tried to spread peace. I hang out with Crips and the Bloods. I hang out with,
Mm-hmm.
you know, different streets and different sections. When, you know, back in high school, it's like I hang out with the goths and the thugs, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Whatever, like, you know, but I just dated myself on thugs. I don't know if people say thugs anymore. But yo, that's
That's right.
like
Hey, Thug
how I
Life. We're
grew
talking
up.
about Tupac, so it
Yeah,
works.
we were
It
talking, yeah,
works.
yeah, yeah. So it's like, but that's it. You know what I'm saying? Bridging the gap between people always, and trying to
Mm-hmm.
stand for that, and then trying to just be like, bro, everything's gonna be all right. Let's just try to enjoy the small things and be happy and fortunate, and all the like the cheesy, cliche, cringy things that people don't want to say because they call them
Mm-hmm.
cheesy and cringy and shit. Like that's terrible. These are things like, man, it's like it's hard to even tell you can still love your man and be manly, dog. There's a Kanye line. It's like you can tell your homie, like, bro, I love you, bro. Like I'm here for you, right? It's like that. Be like, man, shut the fuck up, bro. Like that's weird. The culture I grew up in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
We could just say things and it's not weird to be like, bro, I love you, or I support you in this, man, and I'm here if you need anything. Yeah, man, shut the fuck up, you corny ass. But
Mm-hmm.
bro, literally, I
Yep.
don't know how else to
You
say.
get slapped
I
upside the
support you
head,
right
bro. You get
now.
slapped upside the head. Yep.
Yeah, bro. It's like, bro, you know, that's weird. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. But I think you know, I'm been always been the sensitive, emotional person. And it's like I found a little lane, a little opening where I see people being happy and like being touched by something I do. And I'm like, all right, cool. That's what I'm doubling down. That's why I'm making it. That's why I'm doing songs like Goodbye Now, because they feel good and I feel good doing them. And I don't feel uh you know, I don't feel like I'm changing anything or I'm being anyone I'm not. I feel like I'm just making my shit. That's all. And I'm gonna continue to
As
make
it
it.
should
You
be.
know what I'm saying? And then people starting to resonate with it. I'm like, yes, thank you. They don't care either way, whatever it is, we're rocking. You know what I'm saying? And I'm
Correct.
yeah, I want to give something that's special every time. It makes people feel whatever that is. If it's sad, if it's happy, if it's go wild out and get drunk, like each song is gonna bring you something. Whether I'm rapping, whether I'm doing some reggae type shit, whether I'm singing something you might feel is a little country inspired, it doesn't matter. The overall message is the same every time.
Nah, dude, that's so true. And what that reminds me of is like really channeling that specific feeling, energy, or frequency, right? And it really hit me like the first single I did was last year, and my homegirl in Colorado, Sasha Stone, who featured and did the singing on this track, bro, it was crazy. Like she explained it to me in a way that I didn't understand because like we hadn't really. I was living in Oklahoma City at the time, and I knew she was going to be on this, and she had the understanding of the concept. Like I had my lyrics written, I had a base structure of the song, but I had no idea what she was going to come in and do because we hadn't had the time to like really work. So she came in and she sat for a couple hours while I was tracking my vocals and whatnot, and then she just took it all in. She channeled it, right, and that's what she told
Yeah.
me afterwards. She was like, she's like, I really couldn't channel the feeling. And like, I had sent her the track, she had listened to it. I literally sent her the lyrics so she could like read through it and try to understand it. She's like, I get it, but I don't get it. She's like, I didn't really get it until I was there in the studio with you, really taking in that energy and that vibes. And I think that really resonates and reminds me of that because of what you said from the standpoint that for each different vibe that you might be or emotion, because music's, pure music, right, is meant to
Yeah.
move you, like you were just talking about, in some kind of emotional way. I mentioned it earlier. Music is a universal love language. People, get that shit through your head. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And man, so I appreciate that because I've lived it and I've experienced it. And my understanding of music, because I'm not classically trained. Like, I've always loved music. I've always been around it. I've always been on the other side with people I always rolled with, or trying to help them out with their career. So I was always on that side. But now jumping out to the other side is a completely different ball game, right? And it's been a beautiful evolution and growth experience for me. Which sometimes there's been some days where I'm like, yo, fuck this, bro. Like the 2 months that Jay Peasy was working with me last summer on my track. There was one time, bro, I kid you not, I was working on this fucking track with him, and he called me up. He's like, bro, he laid into me. He laid the fucking, rightly so, but it like took, bro, he laid into me to me so much. I didn't like call and text him back for like 2 or 3 days, bro, because I didn't know what the fuck to say. But it was a learning experience for me, right? And I think that combined with the Sasha Stone story that I was experiencing, like, don't force shit. Don't try to do XYZ. Channel it and let the beat, let that frequency, let that energy tell you, whether it's, what you should say, what's the tone of how you should say it. Let that go in, because it's got to be a dance, right? Between you lyrically or your vocals and the melody or the music or the beat itself. It's like making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, man. That shit goes
Yeah.
together. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure, dude. That's it. You know what I'm saying? It's and and if we could do one thing, it's like Tupac said, bro. Spark the whatever it is, whatever you said, like
Yeah,
spark it.
spark the change. Yeah, I may not be the one to spark the change,
Yeah,
in this world, but I might be the one to spark the change of that person that will change this world.
right. We can help in a small way. We don't have
Yes.
to go out and be the biggest thing in the world, but in a micro way, we could help. And that's more important than anything. Like, what is my music saying? What is my legacy saying? You know what I'm saying? I hit 30 and got super like aware, in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I went through my 20s and like, did a lot of different things and ran around New York City like a nutcase and like, struggled to make ends meet and met some amazing people and always kept music in it. Never let it
Mm-hmm.
completely die. But when I'm at this, I've been every seat in the studio. I've been the engineer, I've been the producer, I've been the writer, I've been the guy who brings in the mic stands and like plugs everything in and engineers.
Mm-hmm.
I did it all. So when I'm an artist now, I feel like no matter what, I just have to make sure I'm older now, I'm wiser, and I have to make sure that I'm making something that is gonna age well and be able to like speak my piece to my grandkids. That's what I want. I want them to listen to my catalog and learn something. I want them to also truly know who I am as a
Mm-hmm.
person. Not every single political thought of the week, but overall how I
Correct.
feel, right?
But have a good foundational feeling and understanding of who the fuck you
Yeah.
were as a person.
And overall be timeless. The most important thing is, will they like it?
Yes.
Will they enjoy it to some degree? Will it make them feel? I should say. Maybe they won't like it because there'll be some new music on the, some new genre that everyone's listening to in a whole different sound. But maybe
Mm-hmm.
it'll make them feel something, because words and like you said, music is universal. So that's my goal, is my grandkids. I want them to listen to my catalog, know who I was, know why I did what I did, and know what I did during my life. And hopefully they know, because they're like, oh man, the museum is named after him, and the park at my school and all the things, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it
Yeah.
may be. And he, if you knew your Albert Einstein's descendants, everybody knows, like, well, you know what Albert did, you know what your uncle did, or you know what he did. And that's, that's what I hope. I hope to be like that inspiration for that long after I'm gone. All the grandkids are going to be like, yes, my great 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 grandfather, he was amazing, and he built all this and helped us, and that legacy lives on. And when they listen to my music, I actually could help them get through emotional stuff, maybe, or be there when I can't physically be there, because that's my seeds. You know what I'm saying?
It's facts.
Kind of deep, but yeah, that's real. I feel like that.
No, man, bro,
I'm not
it
trying to do
doesn't
the
get any
flavor of the
realer
week.
than that.
Yeah, I ain't trying to do like, bitch, drop down, grab your heels, damn man, fucking
Yep.
that sex, drugs, and whatever comes up. I'll keep it real. I'll let you know if I, did a little something, smoke a little something, go to sleep, or do whatever in my songs. I'm gonna be honest, but I'm never gonna like promote something bad, something that I think is not worthy to promote, because my grandkids are gonna listen to this, and it's gonna help them with life. And I may not be here, and I definitely won't be here for the next generation, but I want my music to live. And
you can leave that legacy.
Yeah, man. Frank Sinatra died, like, I don't even know if he was alive while I was alive. I don't know when he died, but he's like, man, I knew I could make it there. I can make it anywhere, because Frank Sinatra told me that.
Good old Mickey Blue Eyes, baby.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I want, that's how I look at it. Like, I want my grandkids to know a lyric or two from their great great grandfather. You know what I'm saying? At some point.
And that's making a difference. Like you said a few minutes ago, even at that micro level, bro, that's still doing your part, right? And I'm somebody,
right.
I've always said this about myself, right? Like with, saying earlier, like I said, I want to be an asset to people, right? I look at it very similarly to you, right? Even if it's at a micro level, if I end up, when my physical being leaves this earth, right? If I can sit back, or if somebody can sit back and be like, yo, I at least made a difference in one person's life throughout my whole entire life. If I made some kind of significant difference for that individual, well, you know what? I left this world a hell of a lot better than I did coming into it, because I at least helped that one person.
Right.
Like, come on, like you can, nobody could ever take that away from you, or the impact that you and others are able to make with their music or their thoughts or their form of entertaining. That's what it should be about. I mean, because again, we said it earlier, we're not put on this earth to be alone. Like, if we did, like, literally everybody would know bad. There wouldn't be such thing as neighborhoods or apartment buildings, or like, you walk into a restaurant where there's 20 seats to 200 seats. There's a reason for that, because people were meant to congregate and be around each other. And
100%.
Man, you're right though, bro. It's about leaving that legacy, and that's all that we could ever hope for. And again, I know it's something that you're working towards, but being a parent now of an 11-year-old, and it starts to hit different. I'll tell you, bro, once you get there, man, enjoy it, buckle the fuck up when that does happen, dog. Because man, like my daughter's at the age now, she's gonna be 11 in August, and she takes a lot, and definitely a blend of myself and my wife. But like, she's taken like a lot of my personalities, like from the business sense and like the analytical sense and like that type of shit. And like, sometimes it's like I'm fighting with wrong word to use. I'm having a debate with myself or an argument with myself, and I'm like, then I just like stop. And I'm like, dog, you ain't gonna win, bro. You ain't just wait. As long as she ain't doing anything she really shouldn't be doing, sometimes you gotta take the loss, bro. Yes, you're the parent, but sometimes you gotta win. Live to fight another day. You know what I mean? So it's
100%,
it's a beautiful experience, though.
God bless you, bro. God bless you and your
Nah.
family, man. That's amazing,
I
bro.
appreciate that.
You seem like a great dude, and
I appreciate that, bro.
It was a pleasure rocking with you, man. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, man. Hey,
can't
man.
wait to see what you do. I can't wait to see how you grow and how you elevate your stuff. And
I appreciate that, bro. Real talk.
This seems like you're similar to me in the way of being entrepreneurial and kind of like a serial entrepreneur. You know what I mean? That's a thing.
Yeah, man. Nah, for real.
So,
bro. No, I appreciate your time, bro. Like, truly a privilege to have you on and have this conversation with you. Again, I hope everything is going well with what Tara's got going on with the family. Again, like I told her,
100%.
Nothing but positive vibes being sent that way, bro.
Love.
And appreciate that, bro. And I know we're gonna get her back on, and when the time and the schedule allows. But I'm gonna go ahead and end the live stream. Let me know when you have some time. I know we're gonna chop it up. I'm gonna eat myself a late. I'm gonna go eat a late dinner right now. So if you're around later, we can chop it up later. Or if you're around tomorrow, I'm open, bro. Again, I'm an entrepreneur, bro. So I'll be where I need to be when I need to fucking be there. You know what I mean?
Shoot me a text, man. I definitely want to run some things by you.
Bet.
All right. Much
Bet.
love, bro.
Done, dude.
Thank you for
All
having
right,
me,
bro.
y'all.
You be good, man. Hey, thank
yeah.
you. I appreciate you. I'll talk to you later, bro.
Peace, bro.
Peace.